Giatec was started with this vision to help structures become more durable and last longer. And then we evolved that vision to revolutionizing the concrete industry. And over the past 11 years, we gradually pivoted from the initial vision that we had to other types of approaches to help the industry tackle its day-to-day problems. Starting a company has tons of challenges, and starting a company as an immigrant has other challenges. So, coming here as an immigrant obviously has its own challenges. You have to start from zero. Like, I had already established a network of people and a reputation back home in Iran through my studies and also the work that we did at Construction Materials Institute. And you have to leave all that behind and come here and start from zero. You have to establish your credibility. You have to prove yourself. And so that's the challenge for most of the immigrants, obviously, when they come here.
Hi, Dr. Alizadeh. Thank you so much for coming to the Immipreneur podcast. I'm so excited to hear all about your journey. So welcome to the show.
Hi, Mo. It's great to be here, and thanks for having me.
Perfect. Let's jump right into it. My first set of questions is about your background and experience, so the immigrant entrepreneurs in our audience can understand who you are, where you're coming from, and how you got started. Then we will jump into your thoughts about what you would do if you had to start all over again from scratch, so our audience can understand how they practically apply what you've learned in real world. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of where you come from, when you came to Canada, and how you got started?
Yeah, sure. So I was born and raised in Iran, and I did my undergrad and master's studies there in civil engineering at the University of Tehran. And then after my master's studies, I wanted to pursue the research in cement science a bit further, and that's why I decided to come to Canada and take a program here at the University of Ottawa in civil engineering. And I did my Ph.D. Here from 2005 when I came here as an international student until 2009 when I graduated. And then after that, I started Giatec until today.
Perfect. Could you tell us a little bit about your current company and how you got started?
After my PhD, I was on my path to become a professor. I did everything I could to become a professor, from publishing papers to networking and making connections. And actually, at the end of the day, I got a couple of job offers from academia as a tenure-track assistant professor and a postdoc at MIT and things like that. And but at that point, things didn't really sit right with me. We had some bridge collapses in Montreal, and in Toronto, the Gardner Expressway was crumbling. I think it still has some challenges from a durability perspective. And I saw that there's a huge gap between what I was working on at the academic level and what the industry was dealing with. And that's why one day, myself and my business partner, Dr. Puriakos, who was in the same shoes as myself, coming to Canada as an international student and graduating from PhD, we decided to start Giatec and bridge that gap. We wanted to bring the knowledge and research-based technologies that we worked at the academic level to the industry and build easy-to-use solutions that can be used by engineers, stakeholders, operators throughout the life cycle of concrete structures, so that they can prevent catastrophic damages similar to what I mentioned from bridge collapse and things like that. So that's how Giatec was started, with this vision to help structures become more durable and last longer. And then we evolved that vision to revolutionizing the concrete industry. And over the past 11 years, we gradually pivoted from the initial vision that we had to other types of approaches to help the industry tackle its day-to-day problems.
Perfect. So basically, it was your first company, right?
Yeah, so as a business, it was my first experience. Back in Iran, we had another experience, not as a company, but it was an institute. We established actually something called Construction Materials Institute. It's a research institute located within the University of Tehran, where we could get projects from industry and do some sort of consulting, knowledge-based consulting services to the concrete industry. That was a good experience, but as a business and a startup focusing on product, this was the first experience for us at Giatec.
Wow. How did you tackle this particular issue?
Yeah, so in the
concrete industry, I mean.
Yeah, so concrete is a very fascinating material. You mix aggregates, cement, water, sand, and some other chemicals, and it goes through a liquid stage to become a solid, and this solid material is exposed to aggressive climates and different conditions. So there's a lot going on inside the concrete, and we wanted to understand, first of all, how we can monitor these changes and the properties of concrete with sensors and software solutions, and then make those measurements and turn those measurements into actionable insight. So it's one thing to measure a parameter. The other thing is how you generate knowledge and insight based on that information. So that has been our journey to develop electronic sensors and devices, and then overlay them with software solutions that can analyze that data in real time to give, for example, the strengths of concrete and permeability of concrete and things like that, that are data points that engineers and operators, inspectors, concrete producers, general contractors can use to make informed decisions.
And there is no such a thing out there other than your company, right?
So when we started with specifically sensors, we have 9 different products in the market. Our flagship product, Smart Rock, maybe I can talk a bit about that. That was when there were some products in the market, but they were using wired systems and data loggers and software applications, maybe on the data loggers themselves or PC softwares. We decided to take a completely different approach. We first of all went with fully wireless sensors, so Bluetooth technology was getting easier and cheaper to use. So we went with Bluetooth sensor that can be fully embedded in the concrete. And then instead of getting a data logger or a PC software for analysis of data, we went with mobile apps. Mobile apps were growing at that point 6 years ago. Computing power was enough to analyze data in real time. So we built mobile apps for the first time for this kind of application. And because it was so simple, everyone had a smartphone, and these sensors, you just put them in the concrete, and you don't need to take care of, wires coming out or nodes and hubs. It was a very, very easy application for concrete contractors and general contractors. So that's why this approach was very new, and it was a hit in the market. After us, there were other companies who tried to do similar stuff, 30 competitors worldwide. But we were the first one to take this approach and, in a way, digitize the concrete monitoring side of things.
Impressive. What challenges did you face early on when you started your company in Canada as an immigrant?
So there are two sides to it. Starting a company has tons of challenges, and starting a company as an immigrant has other challenges. So, coming here as an immigrant obviously has its own challenges. You have to start from zero. Like, I had already established a network of people and a reputation back home in Iran through my studies and also the work that we did at Construction Materials Institute. And you have to leave all that behind and come here and start from zero. You have to establish your credibility. You have to prove yourself. And so that's a challenge for most of the immigrants, obviously, when they come here. And starting a business has its own challenges too. So we didn't have any prior experience. We had to learn a lot of things ourselves, from business development, sales, marketing, product manufacturing, things like that. And so that was another sort of challenge.
How did you overcome these two challenges?
Yeah, so you just need to work hard. The simple answer is,
Yeah.
there's nothing that can stop you from achieving your dream and vision and your goals. So you just need to have to work hard and be open to learning. So when I came here as an international student, I was working really hard during my studies and started communicating and networking with different people and prove myself, and the same in business. So we worked really hard and we were open about things that we didn't know. So because of that, we went immediately and found mentors and coaches and advisors who could help us with different aspects of the business development. At Giatec, the same, as an immigrant, you go and learn from people who've done it before. So, and the good thing is, as a starter, especially when you're a student, there are many people who want to help you. So if you don't ask, you don't learn. So just simply go and ask other people for help. And I'm sure there are many people who want to help immigrants and also entrepreneurs at the beginning. And the good thing was that in Canada in particular, there is a ton of resources to get you up and running in both of those areas.
Perfect. We'll definitely go to that part later on in our conversation. You won multiple prestigious awards, including Governor General's Academic Gold Medal, University of Ottawa's Alumni Entrepreneur of the Year, Ottawa's 40 Under 40 Award, and this year you were recognized by Globe and Mail among the top 50 change makers. What did you give up for achieving this level of success?
So I'm very humble and honored to receive those recognitions, but I'm sure there are hundreds of other people who deserve the same. And whether you get recognized or not, you have to give up a lot of things. And when you're coming here as an immigrant, or when you're starting a business and you're growing that business, first and foremost, your family is going to be affected. You're working really hard, and that means sometimes you need to work maybe 15 hours a day, weekends. You can't have that many vacation times and things like that. So it's your baby in a way. You're growing, and you're fully invested in it. So your immediate family, your spouse, your children, are going to be affected, and their support along the way is significant to make sure that you're going to achieve your dreams. So that's one thing. Fortunately, there were two of us, and Faria, my business partner, and I, as co-founders, we supported each other. So sometimes, I was not in the mood and he was helping, and vice versa. So having a business partner helped each of us to be more attentive to the family matters and personal matters. So, but if it wasn't the case, I think family would have been the first, area to be affected. The other one is that you have to achieve your dream and your vision, you have to give up the expectations that are the norm in the society, right? So, and I could have easily got a tenure track assistant professor job and be secure, have a good salary early on 11 years ago, and just follow what was expected from me. From the society's perspective, right? And I gave all that up, and we had to go through a lot of challenges from a financial perspective at the first few years, from the social pressure that you see your colleagues or your team members who are now progressing in their career, and you are still struggling with getting a first customer buying your product. So you have to be firm in your vision and just keep pushing forward, and just believe in what you're doing. So that's maybe another thing that you have to give up. Not living the standard normal life.
I totally agree with you. The entrepreneur journey, especially as an immigrant, is really challenging, and it needs a lot of effort and sacrifices along this journey. So, did you have any mentors, or did you have to figure it out all your own?
Well, we absolutely have tons of mentors throughout the past, I think, 15 years, even back home in Iran. My professor, Dr. Gali Bafian, Dr. Shakarchi, helped us a lot with forming the views around from the material science perspective, but also from the career path, the vision that we had to change the world, things like that. You have some ideas, but your mentors and coaches can help you form the ideas better, and in a sense that they can direct you in the path that would get you to your vision and dream faster in a way. And so we were always open to it from that time, and even at Giatec early on, we had access to Invest Ottawa's advisors. They have here in Ottawa a very, very good incubation facility. They call them EIRs, entrepreneurs in residence, in various areas from marketing, business development, finance, who can help you. So we had regular weekly meetings with many different advisors to hear from them and chat. They would challenge us on our ideas and on our strategies. And the other one that we formed was a formal board of directors. So although we were bootstrapped and we didn't have any investors, so we were legally not really obligated to bring external board of directors, but we formed an external board of director at Giatec, and bringing people from industry and business who can challenge us and help us form strategies that would get us to the end goal faster and easier. So yeah, that's definitely maybe one of the untold secrets of Giatec, that we've had many different advisors along the way.
Perfect. In what ways are you supporting other immigrant entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so I was in the same shoes when you're starting off 11, 12 years ago, and I got the help of other people, and so it's time to give. It's any time that we can give back, we are always open to it. So whether it's talking at events and sharing the stories about the challenge that we had and how we can overcome those challenges, to even direct contacts and communication from people who just are starting, or even students who have an idea and they want to know if starting a business is right for them or not. We're always open to that, both myself and my business partner. So anytime we get a request, we're more than happy to help the fellow entrepreneurs and immigrant entrepreneurs in particular.
Especially, I'm sure this interview will help a lot of immigrant entrepreneurs to understand the mentality behind the successful immigrant entrepreneurs like you. So what are the most important skills immigrants need to gain in order to be successful? So
as a entrepreneur, you're talking, right? So
Yes.
Immigrants who are starting a business. Yeah. So there are different skills that you need to have for starting a successful business. One of them, I would say, is building and growing a team. Like, this is really critical. Teamwork is, I think, absolutely critical in the success of any business. You cannot do all of that alone. There's so many challenges and issues that you need to overcome. And as the business grows and you go through the first stages, you cannot solve all of it yourself. So you need to have a strong, like-minded team who share the same vision or passion. And so that core team is very, very important. You need to bring in people who are going to stay with you along the way and be supportive of each other and be passionate about what you're building. So that's number one, I would say, skill. If you bring smart people and creative people and make them part of your success and part of your team, the rest is easy, right? So as long as you have this particular person who's very innovative in marketing approaches, or this person who's a very, very good salesperson, and you trust them and let them grow their area, the rest of it would become much easier. The second, I think, the skill is depending on where you come from, the culture of business can be different. Here from
Definitely.
You need to understand how business operation is done in the market that you are targeting. What are the relationships that you need to build in order to start a business relationship? Prior to starting a business relationship, there are other things that you have to do depending on the market. Even for us, we're selling to various countries in Japan, China, South America, India. The culture of business is different, and we have to learn that before going there. So if you're focused on a specific market, you need to understand that and be aware of the aspects of the business that you need to adjust to meet that local market requirements. So that's another thing. And maybe the third one I would say is here in Canada, and it's more relevant to Canada, is learn quickly about the resources that are available, and communicate and connect with the resources that are here, so that you leverage them early on. From financial resources perspective or advisory resources perspective.
Perfect. As you mentioned, building a team, and I really agree with you. Do you think it's important to delegate some of your tasks to others? And if yes, what's your way of hunting talents and building effective team to achieve great results?
Yeah. So, as I mentioned, you cannot scale if you want to do everything yourself, and it's exactly. Very scary to delegate at the beginning. Now, as maybe the first 2 people or 3 people, you know exactly what you want to achieve. A lot of it is not documented. You cannot even document a lot of your visions and ideas and strategies, and you cannot really put it in a process even to pass it on to the other employees that are joining your company and your team. So, and it can be very scary that you are delegating this work to someone who may not do it as good as you. And there are 2 aspects to it. And, first of all, as I mentioned, there's no way you can grow without delegation. But there are 2 aspects to delegation. One is that you need to bring in people who are smarter than you. Like if you bring people who are smarter than you in a specific area.
And this is really hard because sometimes you think, you are the smartest person in the room,
Yeah. So definitely you have to bring people who are smart. Otherwise, you end up micromanaging. And that's not what you want to do. Okay, you need to free up your time, build a team and trust them that they can deliver. And to do that, you need to bring people who are strong. They're maybe specialized in one area and are really good at it, and you trust them to do it better than you. So that's one thing. And the other thing is that as you go forward, you need to gradually make the execution more documentable, set goals and break those goals into actionable items. And then that way you may be able to control to some extent your passing your vision and your strategy all the way to the maybe 3rd level, 4th level employee to be aligned throughout the company. So you cannot do it early on. It's not easy because the vision and the strategy is evolving very, very rapidly at the beginning. But as long as you see that there are some areas that are solidifying, it's better to document them so that you can pass the message to the next people.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alizadeh. According to Stats Canada, mental health of immigrant entrepreneurs has worsened since the beginning of the pandemic, when everyone's working remotely. And I think this is a very important topic at the moment. Do you have any recommendations or suggestions to help immigrant entrepreneurs dealing with mental health issues?
Yeah, so this is unfortunately, after COVID, not from business perspective. A lot of businesses got affected because they couldn't generate revenue as before, so they had to go through a lot of hardship, and that put a lot of pressure on them and their families. But even in the best case scenario, staying remote and working remote meant that you were disconnected from the rest of the team. And previously, you had these chances of, talking with people over coffee break, or in the kitchen or in the hallways, and those human-to-human interactions, I think, were great ways of staying healthy from the mental perspective, in my opinion. And we lost that. We lost it, and it's not something that you can replicate in the remote world. And so we were fully aware of that from the beginning, and we made sure that even in the remote scenario, we can arrange get-togethers or social events or games or things like that to make people stay connected on the non-business related stuff or non-work related stuff. And also we encouraged, as the requirements were eased from the Health Canada's perspective, we encourage people to come back to the office, even if it's for a day or two, grab lunch together and just meet people in person. When we could, we did the gatherings and events in person to help with that. The other thing was organizing virtual coffee chats or coffee breaks with people, just to stay in touch with them on a personal side, just to keep them engaged, so that you have, first of all, one way of communication that is not work related, but also from the manager's perspective, detect signs that you may see that someone is struggling from the mental health perspective, and they may be living by themselves, or they're alone, and there are other challenges in life that we might be able to help. So that way we ensured that we could do anything we can to help people have access to resources that can help them go through this difficult time.
Perfect. How do you personally handle frustration and stress? Depends, So one thing that I wanted to mention is stress is very subjective. So one thing that might be stressful for one person may not be as stressful for the other person, and the stress bucket can grow as you build capacity and capability to cope with that. So definitely, and each person is different. You have to find ways that can take you outside that situation, and you can look from like a 360 view from outside and say, okay, well, this is not really a big deal. In the bigger scheme of things, this thing that is happening is not that big. And that's at the end of the day, as long as you establish that perspective, that what you are perceiving as a stressful situation is not far from your capacity to handle it, then you can manage that stress. And so to come out of that situation, you have to maybe distract yourself with an activity, go and do something that you like, maybe go for a run or for a walk, or do, painting, or play a sport, or, do music, or something that you enjoy, that takes you away from that being inside that situation. And coming outside that situation, you see clearly that your capacity to handle it is probably bigger than what you thought before, and that makes you I like that. Have you ever felt that you're not expected because of your background, nationality, or skin color?
Here in Canada?
Yes.
No, I never felt that. I think that's one of the best things about Canada, that you feel that you're part of the society. From the beginning, when I came here back in 2005 as an international student, I was warmly welcomed by my supervisor, my fellow students, other team members, university staff, the research staff at the University of Ottawa was doing my PhD project. So it was very, very nice to go through that. And that's very encouraging for you when you see that sort of warm welcoming from the society's perspective. It makes you feel connected and belonging to the society, and makes you even more determined to work hard and build and establish things here in Canada.
What a powerful journey, Dr. Alizadeh. Thanks so much for sharing that. Let's switch gears a bit now and move to the present, where our audience of immigrant entrepreneurs want to get the kind of results you've achieved. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions about what you would do if you had to start all over again right now from scratch and strive to duplicate your past results. If you had to start all over again with your current knowledge and experience in today's world with today's tools, time constraints, and other factors, what would you do differently?
I would probably get to market faster. So I think that one of the things is to get feedback as quickly as possible on your ideas, and maybe even before building a product, go to the market and get letters of interest from potential customers. Tell them this is what you're building, and see if they're willing to pay for it, and if they're going to sign up, maybe as a non-binding agreement, that they're saying, okay, I'm going to pay this much dollar amounts for your product if you build it in a year from now, and this is how many products I will buy from you. So going through that exercise early on can help you collect feedback that is going to be very valuable in building your actual product, because then you engage in very meaningful conversations with potential customers who are going to say, oh, this idea is great, but can you do it this way or that way? Maybe I have this problem that you didn't see. And then you start thinking about, okay, maybe I need to change my go-to-market strategy. Maybe I need to change my product offering. Maybe I'm too early to the market. Maybe I should go with this product first as opposed to the other product. So getting that feedback early on from real customers is very important. Advisors are great. Maybe yourself or your friends, you can form some opinions, but the true feedback comes from potential customers and the customers who are willing to pay. If people say, yeah, this is great, it might be a nice to have thing. And, you're building this amazing gadget that everyone says, wow, this is fascinating, but no one is willing to pay for it because it's just a nice to have. So it's important to understand, is your idea nice to have, or is it a must have that is solving a big pain? So getting that feedback, I think, is something that I would probably have done better if I go back, and that would have probably helped us achieve revenue growth faster at the beginning.
I totally agree with you, especially when you validate your idea early on. You have more confidence to build something out of your idea.
And in today's world, you can build, a mobile app mock-up very easy, like even without a software team. So you can do that and show it to customers, or you can maybe get some electronics, off-the-shelf components, put something together. It doesn't have to look fancy. Just get it in the field, get tested, get feedback. You don't have to have a perfect solution to go to the market. And by the time you make it perfect, it might be too late, or it might not be the product or solution that customers needed. So, you just need to move fast and go to the market with an MVP, they call it, minimum viable product, that you can get feedback and iterate quickly. And that's the key to success in any product company.
Definitely. Uh, Dr. Alizadeh, the day-to-day routine is fundamental for entrepreneurs in terms of high productivity and healthy lifestyle. Can you take us to a typical day in your life and tell us what you do exactly from start to finish? What would you do when you first, open your eyes in the morning? What have you for breakfast? How you start your business, and how your day-to-day business looks like?
Yeah, so it varies, and even today, and obviously over the years, the lifestyle 11 years ago was different from today. But what I've maybe learned to be the good way, at least for today, for me, is that I start each day with a clean agenda. So the day before, the night before, I make sure that I've cleaned up my inbox, and I've organized the action items or to-do list before going to bed. So that's, I think, the important thing, even before starting the day, that you have a good sleep. And to have a good sleep, you have to have a clear agenda. Your meetings are set. You've reviewed your next day, and you know how the next few days would look like. So that's really important. Even on the weekends, on Sundays, I clear up all my inbox before starting Monday. I don't want to start Monday and struggle through tons of emails or clear those emails. So that's very distracting. So the first thing is to remove those distractions the day before, and you start the day with a fresh agenda, and you just open your inbox, and there are new emails, there are new actionable items that you need to take care of. From breakfast, you asked about that. So anything, because it's just a coffee until noon. But there's something called intermediate fasting that my wife and I started doing, and it's very effective. That when
nice.
you fast until you're hungry, maybe 20 hours of fasting, something like that, and you just run on a coffee or tea. So that has been very effective in staying focused and sharp throughout the day.
Amazing.
And the scheduling breaks in between is important. In today's world, especially with the virtual meetings, everything is running back to back. And it can be very challenging to go out of one meeting and go to another one, looking at one direction and not staying sitting on the seat. So if I can, I'll schedule breaks for myself to maybe clean up my emails or grab a coffee or chat with my business partner or my friends. So that's important as well throughout the day, to be aware of that and just don't burn out during the day. And obviously doing physical activity, and having your own hobbies, whether it's a sport or music, watching movies, whatever that is, have your hobbies I have those, to take my mind off work. Because if your mind is continuously working to take care of this stuff, you get tired to the point that you can't be efficient and effective. So you need to reset that by distracting yourself and doing something that you enjoy, taking your mind off that. And for me, it's, sometimes watching a movie, listening to music, or going for a hike or walking that I enjoy.
When do you usually finish your work day?
Yeah, I'm trying to be more organized, so at least I try to finish the regular day by 5:30 or 6, so that I can have dinner with my wife. So that's important to maintain that. So otherwise, you have a personal life to take care of as well. So, but that doesn't mean that you cannot work after that. So after having dinner, then I still have some emails to take care of, or some projects to review, some tasks that I have. So, another couple of hours after dinner to finish the day. But sometimes you have no choice. There's a deadline. You have to finish the product milestone, or there is a project that you have to deliver. So it means you may have to work non-stop for 15 hours a day, or that's something that you have to do it when it's the time to do it. But keeping that organization in the schedule of, okay, this is the time I'm waking up, this is the time I'm having dinner, at least keeps a balance between your business life and family life.
That's a key. What meetups, local entrepreneur events, and accelerators do you recommend that have helped you grow?
The Ottawa community is very, very good in that sense. We have various teams, groups, and facilities here who are supporting entrepreneurs. Invest Ottawa, for example, is one of the best ones that we've lived over the years. We even had a few cubicles there at the beginning when we didn't have our own offices. And then leveraging their advisory services even today. So it has been very, very helpful for us. Then we have another community here called Fresh Founders, which is a group of entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs who are helping each other, basically. So it's non-for-profit. Basically, they're helping each other. They're getting together. There are events, and you talk together. And one of the good aspects of it is that when you see other crazy people like yourself, you become more determined. I'm not alone. There are
exactly.
Who have gave up a lot of things or sacrificed a lot of things to achieve their dream and vision, and you become more determined to pursue your path. So it's actually very good to meet other people who are in your shoes through your those events. And
all entrepreneurs can join that specific group.
I think they most of them, whether it's Invest Ottawa or Fresh Founders, they have websites that you can apply to become a member or join their services or events. So it's not private, it's public.
Okay, perfect.
I think they have criteria for selecting people to join their groups, but
thank you so much for sharing that. Let's talk about one of your most important area of your business, which is marketing. Do you remember how you found your first few customers and basically how you marketed your business in the first few years?
Yeah, no, I clearly remember that because one of the critical steps in our journey, we were doing at Giatec a lot of R&D and building prototypes and getting government grants to build devices and all of that. And at some point, we made a decision just to go to market. We said, we cannot do this forever. We have to go to market and get a customer and get revenue generated. We were bootstrapped. We don't raise funding from VCs or angels. So we had to generate money through revenue to sustain. So what we did was that back in the day, there were no laws about email like that. So we scraped up all the email addresses through online resources, websites, and used the free version of MailChimp to send emails using the tour that I did myself. So we took a picture of our product. It was a prototype at that point, and turned it to a brochure, send it to the email addresses of potential customers that we collected through online resources. And then we started getting code requests. So people were asking, how much does this product cost? And then I actually looked for various templates to build the most professional code template. So impression is very, very important. You need to show that you are established. People trust. There's a lot of aspects to that from marketing perspective, and maybe we can discuss later. But so we send the most professional looking brochure and code to these requests.
Websites, email communication.
Email communication. It has to be fully customized and professional, so that you exude confidence in the people who are getting your communication. Otherwise, if you do a sloppy job, they subconsciously think, okay, maybe your product is also sloppy, since your email is not well or your brochure is not formatted well. So we got those code requests, sent the pricing, and then one of the requests actually came back saying that I want to buy this product. So we were very excited for that first order. And we told them that the lead time is going to be 3 months. Basically, we wanted to build the product during that period. So turn our prototype into a real product, and it meant that we had to go through a lot of work, from thinking about brochures and user manuals, electrical certification, all of the details, export issues, because our first customer was in the US actually. So we had to do all of that in the 3 months lead time that we gave to the customer, and we delivered on that. And we used that, and that was the hardest thing to do. And then we used that good experience and good testimonial from that customer to build more requests, get more requests. So then you build up from that, and the rest will be relatively easier as you go forward.
And the rest of is history. Okay, perfect. Who is the most influential person in your life?
There are many people. I say, like, there's not one single person, but just maybe after parents. Obviously, the parents are the most influential people for anyone. I believe that they're forming your personality in some sense and at the beginning. But apart from them, I say my supervisors and professors in Iran, Dr. Shakarchi and Dr. Galipapian, helped me a lot and helping me form my vision and ideas and dreams. And then coming to Canada, my supervisor at the Ph.D. level, Dr. Jimbo, in addition to being an amazing scientist, he is an amazing person who helped me a lot, not only on the science side of things, but also on personal views and personal vision. So, and after that, obviously, my business partner, Dr. Purigots, who has been with me as a friend for the past 20, 25 years. So I think I'm very grateful to have all of them along the way. And obviously, your significant other for me, my wife, along the way, has helped me a lot, to stay strong and go through a lot of difficult times at the business and also life. So you need to have a strong partner, not only in business, but also in life, to support.
I totally agree with you. What books would you recommend entrepreneurs read to help them with their business or life?
I think, as I mentioned, it's very important for entrepreneurs to get validation that they're not crazy. Like they're not alone. Like there are other people. This is normal. That what you're experiencing is normal. All the challenges that you're experiencing is normal. It's not that you're not capable of doing things. This is the normal path of going through an entrepreneurship, and especially maybe for immigrants. So reading books that can remind you of that, or the stories of people who've gone through that, maybe successful people, I think is very valuable. So some of them I would say that I comes to my mind. Maybe Behind the Cloud is a very good book by Salesforce's founder, and it talks about their journey in a time that cloud software wasn't a thing, and they had to go and convince the market that instead of on-prem software, they can use cloud software. The other book I would say I really enjoyed reading is How Google Works. Is a really interesting book talking about how Google hires and what kind of culture they have and how they go through product development to ensure that they meet the market needs. And another good book that I recently read is Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek, and it talks about how you can build an environment that people can can do great things in it. Your team can do great things. So that's especially talking about millennials and how millennials are different in the sense that you need to make other considerations to help them achieve their goals and dreams as part of your company and team.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alizadeh. Let's move on to the question section, which is this or that round. So this is a quick response around 10 questions. Just one rule here. Try not to think about the answer too much. Are you ready?
Sure.
Hire fast or fire fast?
Fire fast.
Toronto or Silicon Valley?
Toronto.
Sell to one or sell to many?
Sell to many.
Instagram or LinkedIn?
LinkedIn.
Physical book or audiobook?
Audiobook.
Angel investor or bootstrapping?
Bootstrapping all day.
Okay. Podcast or YouTube?
YouTube.
Invest in real estate or digital currency?
Real estate.
Data science or AI?
Data science.
Virtual event or physical event?
Physical events.
Okay. You kind of hesitation when I ask you about real estate or digital currency. Why is that?
No, I didn't. I don't
You didn't Okay. So why did you choose real estate over the digital currency?
Physical assets, I think, at this point, I think maybe more valuable. I don't know. I mean, I have no experience in digital currencies, so I can't talk much about it. But yeah, so the future may be different, but today, this is what I wanted to at least answer.
Definitely. And many actually entrepreneurs agree with you on this as well. So let's move on to the $10,000 question. So if I was to give you $10,000 and you had to spend over the next few days on a single thing to grow your business, what would you spend it on and how would you measure success?
In business, right? So how do we?
Yes.
I mean, $10,000 is not a lot of money today.
Not a big, yeah, exactly.
So maybe with that 10,000, we'll do an event, a group team building event. I think that would probably cover that. Maybe get together in a Calypso Park event for the whole team, just team building event. I think is the best use of that $10,000 today at Giatec.
Yeah, but let's say you want to start your business right now and you have $10,000 and you have to spend it in one thing to grow your business. What would you spend it on?
Maybe you can. I think you can use that in advertising. Just get along the same line of getting quick feedback. Maybe you can advertise as if you have a real product and say, like, this is create an ad, a digital ad and Google ad, and advertise it using that $10,000 to see how many inbound requests you'll get. That's a very good validation for you that maybe 1,000 people saw that ad, only 10 people asked for a quote request, and none of them got back to you after you send the pricing. So, but you get that validation very, very quickly.
Perfect. If you were to write a book about yourself, how would you name it? What the title of the book? Yes, exactly.
I don't know. It's a very difficult question. Something along the lines of not following the norm, being rebellious.
Not following the norm. I like it. Okay.
Along those lines, but I have to think about more.
That's a very good title. I'll definitely buy it when you release that book. If you had a magic stick, what are the 3 things you would change in the world?
There's a lot of things, I think, maybe from equity perspective. Now, there's a lot of inequality in the world and inequity in the world. And so there's a big gap in general. When you're looking at it globally, I think if I could have that magic wand, I probably would have used it to solve some of that inequity in a sense. From other perspectives, I think environment is another area that I would use that magic wand for. We know that all the governments are challenged, and the world is challenged with the GHG emissions, and we have to solve this problem for the next generations. This is our responsibility. So if I could develop a technology today that can solve that, or somehow prevent or minimize it, I would solve the GHG emissions or CO2 emissions problem with that magic wand. And maybe the magic wand, I will create more magic wands for the people who have other visions to solve bigger problems.
I like that. I like that answer. That's my favorite. I like that. Thank you. Thank you. What piece of advice do you have to help motivate immigrant entrepreneurs to get started or take their business to the next level?
So here's the thing: we don't want people to come on a false promise. And a lot of people looking at it from outside, they think, "Oh, I can become a Mark Zuckerberg tomorrow," and entrepreneurship is so fancy and luxurious, and I can make millions in no time. And that's not true. There's a lot of work and hardship that you have to go through to build a business. And statistically, 80-90% of the startups fail within the first 2 years. So you have to be aware of that. And even those who survive, they're not going to scale beyond 5 or 8 years. So it's important to be aware of that. But at the same time, don't be scared about that. As long as you're determined and you're passionate, you have to give it a shot. You don't know what you don't know. You have to go all in. You have to work really hard. And you may make it, you may not make it. But even if you don't make it, you've learned a lot of the skills and you have gained a lot of valuable experience that can help you in any job that you would do later. So if you have an idea and you have a passion, start it and don't be discouraged. Work hard. Don't give up. You need at least 2 to 3 years to know if what you are pursuing is valuable or not. So don't give up too early. Work hard and be open to advice of other people and listen to your advisors. And we need more people who are going to start a business. Entrepreneurship is the backbone of the economy and the society. I think creating jobs is very valuable. Growing businesses, exporting products is very, very valuable. So we need more entrepreneurs to join this community and be assured that there are other people who are going to help you there. So that's something that you can depend on as well.
Thank you so much. Where can our listeners connect with you online, Dr. Alizadeh?
I think through LinkedIn. I think that's easier. You can message me or connect with me online. I'll be happy to connect with people and help in any way I can.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming and inspiring all the immigrant entrepreneurs listening. And I'm so honored to share your story. I wish you all the best of success and hope to stay connected, Dr. Alizadeh.
Thank you. I really enjoyed the discussion and conversation, and thanks for having me again.
You've been listening to Immipreneur Show with me, Momo Jahed. Come back next week to hear more steps and missteps successful Immipreneurs took on path to success. I'd like to invite you to check out our website at immip.net, that's immip.net, and join the community of immigrant entrepreneurs and download an action plan that we put together for you as well as the show notes. That's immip.net/show. And if you have any questions, send me an email to mo@immip.net and I may just answer in a future episode. And don't forget to share this episode with people that you love, that you care about, that you're leading, that inspire you. So God bless you all and have a great day.